Hey guys, and today I'm here and I'm going to be doing my second roommate horror story. I did my first one and I told you guys I had another story to tell, and you guys requested it and I'm doing it. So if you guys watched my first one, I mentioned in that one that how they did not tell us that we were getting another roommate, and she kind of just sprung up on us. But this time around, when we, mind you, this is all in the same academic year, so this is spring semester. So they email us a day or two before she moves in and lets us know that we are getting a new roommate, and you know, we have no issue or whatever. They let us know that we actually need to clear some space, so we're like, cool, no problem, blah blah blah. But the weird part was we were getting a new roommate and it was only like 4 or 5 weeks left in the semester. Like literally it was a month left. But anyway, it was like a couple weeks left and we were like, why are we getting a new roommate? We're like, whatever, everybody's preparing for finals anyway. So she doesn't move in when she's supposed to, and when she does move in, everybody's, you know, doing their own thing. I was in the kitchen, probably on my laptop, more than likely. I just remember I was in the kitchen because I answered the door because she knocked on the door instead of putting the key in. And when she knocked, usually, you know, you say, who is this? So I said, who is this? She said, your new roommate. And I opened the door, and she didn't, first off, she didn't even say hi or anything. Her first thing to me was, how old are you? Bitch, hi, how are you? And I just answered her. I said, I'm 20. She was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'm Alexis. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. She told me her name. And I need to give her a name. Okay, we're gonna call her Dial because that's the first thing that I see sitting on my desk. So Dial was like, hi, my name's Dial. Where's my room? I'm like, your room's the last one at the end into the hallway. So I go back in to the kitchen to do whatever I'm doing, and I text my other roommates. I'm like, you know, the new girl's here. She's getting ready to move in or whatever. So my other roommate, she's in class or she's doing whatever she's doing, and we're gonna call her Jelly because that's the other thing I see on my desk. And she's like, what's she like, blah blah blah, like asking me a million questions when this girl's in her room. And then my other roommate, Air, because that's what I see on my desk too, she is in her room, and when she comes out, she just looks at the girl, she says hi, and then we proceed to go to the cafeteria because we had planned earlier to go to the cafeteria for lunch. So we go to the cafeteria and we come back and we have our food, and you know, she finished unpacking, and she Dial finished unpacking, and she came into the kitchen. She's like, yeah, sorry to leave short notice or whatever, but I have to go to work and I will catch up with you guys later on in the night. So we really didn't get to, you know, get to know her at first, but right off the back, I didn't like her first impression. So anyway, later on that night, my other roommates got to know her, and our next door neighbors or whatever, everybody, not everybody, but like the girls that lived next to us came over and they were all chatting it up. But I wasn't out there that night. I was in my room because I had work the next morning. So the next day I said, you know, I'll do the family dinner like we did for the other girl, and this time I made like homemade pizza. Like I made the dough and we had several different types of pizza. Like I went all out. I made dessert. I made homemade banana bread. I had made ice cream. Like I literally had did it all. So she, the new roommate Doll, she was out all day. So we let her know that, you know, we were doing something that night or whatever. So when she finally got off, hold on, let me just tell you guys something really quick. So the next day after, you know, after she moved in, my roommate had told me that, Jelly had told me that Dial was in her room talking to her, telling her all her problems, crying, blah blah blah, just opening up to her. And she's like, I really don't even know you, so I don't understand why you're telling me all of this right off the bat. So What Dial failed to do was remember her lies that she told Jelly. So fast forward on into the nighttime when Dial comes in, you know, everybody's already over, we're all chatting it up or whatever, and she starts mentioning stuff about her life. And I get a text from my roommate saying that, you know, she's lying because she just told me something different last night or whatever. And it just started going on like that. I'm trying to remember the sequence of events. So basically that night that we had the thing that she was lying and what she told the night before wasn't adding up to what she said. We found out that she really didn't even go to our college. She goes to the community college, but somehow she got housing here, emergency housing or whatever. So we really still didn't understand that. So that night we also wanted to go to the store, but most of the stores were closed. So, you know, we have a little get together, everybody's drinking. So I'm not gonna say I was like drunk or anything. Like I might have been buzzed, but I wasn't even buzzed. So let's not even say that. So I wasn't even on a wave. Like I was good. So I'm the only person that has a car. So we take my car, but I'm like, I'm not gonna drive. So my other friend who was there, she volunteers to drive. And my roommate Jelly gets extremely because she's like, I'm your roommate, I should be driving, blah blah blah. I'm like, I really don't care, you can drive if you want to. So you would think because it's my car I would sit in the front seat. Dial decides to hop in the passenger seat. I'm like, cool, whatever, I sit in the back. So we drive to the store and we drive back. As we're driving back, we kind of see police in the rearview mirror, and I mention it, and Dial starts to freak out. She's like, "Ah, I need to stash the weed. I have to stash the weed. I need to stash the weed. I have to stash the weed." First off,
what? Bitch, what?
First off, we're in my car. Second off, you're not about to blame this all on us because where we live, first off, we were driving. I wasn't say it was really late at night, but it was late at night. And over here where I live at, they can take everybody out of the car and sit them on the curb. And they could have had reasonable doubt to sit there and search the car. And if she would have stashed it in my car, who does it fall on? Because it's my car, right? So that pissed me off. But we didn't get pulled over, thank God. So as we're driving back to the school, we're getting in the parking lot, she's just making snarky remarks. I really don't remember what they were, but it just continued to piss me off. So we get upstairs to the room and she says to Jelly, you wanna smoke this? And Jelly goes, yeah. And then Jelly says, do you guys mind if we smoke it out here? Everybody says no. And mind you, our other roommate, Air, was pregnant at the time. And so it's like, why are you trying to do that around a pregnant person anyway? So Jelly and Dial go to Dial's room to smoke or whatever, and everybody else, we kind of just leave. And I can't remember where we went. I think we just started walking around campus. So when we came back to the apartment, the whole entire apartment stunk like weed. Straight weed, my nigga, straight weed. And when I tell you, I'm like, if you're gonna do something like that, do it in your room, keep it in your room, keep it back there, not out here. And usually, and this was I'm not gonna say this was the tip off the iceberg or whatever you call it, but this is what kind of really got me almost to my boiling point. Is I left my door open to my room, and I usually close it. I'm really good about closing it, but this time I had left it open, and my work uniform, I had just washed it, and I usually hang dry it, you know? So when you hang dry stuff, you know, and your clothes are damp, the smells seep in more. Whole entire uniform smelled like weed. Whole entire uniform. Girl, when I tell you I had to walk out of my room, it was just like, let me just relax, cause maybe it's just me. Maybe like I'm blowing this out of proportion. So I asked my other two friends. I said, "Can you walk in my room real quick? Can you tell me? Let me know. Is it just me, or does my room smell like weed too?" Down to my pillows, my blankets, my uniform, my whole room smelled like it. Like I was sitting there doing in my room. And I do not smoke at all. I don't smoke marijuana. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke at all. So I was extremely pissed. So I decided to just go take a walk with my friends, and we walked down to 7-Eleven. In the midst of us walking to 7-Eleven, I text Jelly because Jelly was in the room with her, and Jelly's the only number that I had because I don't have Dial's number. She was the only one currently in the room who had her number. And I text her and I say, my whole entire room smells like weed and my uniform. Her response was K with a question mark. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like if I'm expressing something to you and you know that I don't do something and I left and I stormed out, well, I really didn't storm out. Wouldn't you think like something's wrong? Like my first thing off the rip, if I would have done anything like that, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to say sorry. I didn't mean if the smell got into your room or anything. I really apologize, whatever. And since I was already at that almost my boiling point, her text sent me over, and I literally went off in a text message. I can't even lie. I went completely off. And she basically told me that I was wrong for feeling the way I was feeling, that all I needed to do was open up my window, that it wasn't that serious. But I'm like, if it was your stuff, you'd be upset too. So we're going back and forth, and I'm literally at the point where I'm ready to smack the both of them. And I tell Jelly, I was like, I'm not gonna go back and forth arguing with you over text message. I'm coming upstairs now so we could talk. This was immediately after she had sent me a text message. And you know what? She stayed in her room. She didn't come out. Nobody came out of their room. So I took my stuff and I went home, because if I would have stayed in that apartment that night, it just would have been all the way turned up to the max, because nobody was gonna get no sleep. And when I get mad, I am extremely mad. I throw stuff, I scream, I punch stuff. Like it's just not good. And so me staying there wouldn't have been good at all, because it just would have been an all out thing. So I went home, I called my mom, and I told her, I was like, look, I'm coming home right now. I cannot, like, because I'm really ready to smack fire into somebody. And I go home. When I tell you, I got home around like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and my mom is just like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. She's trying to speak to me calmly. When I tell you, I'm screaming at this lady at the top of my lungs, explaining what's going on, because I'm so pissed. She's like, okay, just relax, just go to sleep, we'll talk about it in the morning. So basically, in the morning, I had got a text message from my friend that worked in housing telling me that if I needed to move out, I could, because that night I was saying, like, you know, I'm not gonna deal with this like how it happened with the first roommate. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's the end of the semester, I don't have time to deal with this. Like, if y'all want to, if this is going to be a constant thing, I don't need to be around this, because I'm not going to lose my job. I'm not going to get kicked out of school for you, because you're not paying my bills, you're not paying for my education, you are not my education, so I'm going to leave. So she tells me if I really want to leave, that there's extra space in her room, in her apartment, I mean, and that they can expedite my moving over here where I'm at right now. So I go up to the school with my mom, because my mom wants to figure out what is going on and whatnot. So when I pull up to the school, these girls are outside, like my roommates are outside, and they're all posted up. And first off, my mom is TTG, because she had on the sweats and the sneakers too, ready to go off, ready to fight too. And I'm like, you know, if I ain't nobody. So as soon as we get out the car, it's like everybody just dispersed like little roaches. Like when I tell you everybody dispersed, like everybody was just like poof. And I got into the housing office and I'm waiting to speak to, you know, somebody in housing, obviously. And Jelly comes up to me in the office. She was like, are we gonna speak like adults now? Girl, I'm gonna tell you, I gave hair flip. Who you talking to? Girl, bye. I don't even got nothing to say to you. So anyway, so first of all, I already had an attitude and you were still trying to come at me again. So anyway, so by that time the housing person had came out and took us to the back office and was basically trying to figure out what was going on. At first my mom was sitting back there and then my mom left so we could talk, and basically the housing person asked what was going on, and I told her, I was like, someone was smoking in the room. The weed smoke got into my uniform and I work somewhere that is high up, higher than your job. I didn't say it like that. And I was pissed and nobody was owning up to it. And I went off and I was spazzing because that's not something I'm trying to be around, something I'm trying to associate myself with. And Jelly goes, well, I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting back there in the room with her. Right, because somebody's going to smoke weed and you smoke weed and you're not going to smoke. I'm just saying. So anyway, basically Jelly's trying to cover her own self and blame everything on Dial now. I mean, if I still have the text messages, I probably will like screenshot them throughout the video or whatever, but basically she was trying to blame it all on Dial, saying it was her fault and it was all her and she wasn't doing anything. Basically, she didn't want to get in trouble, so that's what she was trying to do. And then when we were in the office, she was trying to side with me, and I'm like, nah, that's not how it was last night. Like, you weren't like that. Like, be consistent with how you feel. So the housing director told her to leave. Well, not the director, someone in housing. They told her to leave, and she kept me back there. And she said, so what do you want to do? I said, I want to move out because you guys are slow with fixing issues and I'm not going to deal with it. It's too close to the end of the semester. I'm not going to lose sleep. I'm not going to like be stressed out in my place where I live, because you guys probably didn't know, but I worked a lot, and then I was going, like, I worked during the day till like 12, from 4 o'clock in the morning to 12, and then I would sleep, and then I would have night classes. Like, it was just very difficult, and I didn't want to come back to that. So I'm just like, if you can move me today, right now, I will be fine. And that is what happened. And Jelly was just like, you don't move, blah, blah, blah. Like, just trying to make this whole big thing. And I'm like, nah, when I tell you, I gave this girl the coldest shoulder. Like, once I'm done with you, I'll give you one more chance. And this was her first done. So I wasn't banging with her or whatever. So my mom, my sister, my nephews, they all helped me pack up my room and everything in the apartment and move over here in less than 2 hours. So you would think that would be the end of the story, me just moving over here. Nah, cuz. So that same night when I moved over here, I had class that night too. So I went to class and I had to meet up with my group after class. So we would meet in the cafeteria. So I went to the cafeteria and I was sitting at a table by myself, and I was sitting at a table by myself, and Dial comes up to me and she's like,
I didn't mean to kick you out the apartment.
Pause. You ain't kick me out. I left. I could still be there. Like, taller than me, a little bit bigger than me or whatever. And I'm sitting down and she's towering over me saying this. And when I tell you I had a hot cup of soup because she looked like she wanted to do something. Oh, we could get a pop if we want to. So that was that. And then the following week, Jelly had texted me saying that you were so ready to move out. She's back at it again. And in my head, I'm just like, bro, it was no issue last week. Like, it was no issue last week. So why is it an issue now? And like I told you guys, the housing people are very slow with resolving conflict, because apparently now, the girls I used to live with, they had an issue. Well, Jelly had a problem with it, and they kept bringing it to the housing people or whatever, and they kept trying to get this girl caught. Like, they would call our campus police department anytime she would smoke, so they could come up there and try to bust her. And they kept expressing that they wanted the girl to, move out the room, blah, blah, blah. And even on that day that I had the meeting with the housing, the first day, they said that, she's going to be moving out very soon, blah, blah, blah. They didn't move her out for a whole 2 weeks, and it didn't happen until the whole, my roommates and her had gotten to this big argument where they were screaming in each other's face. The whole apartment was destroyed, and they were literally ready to, rumble. So, yeah, that would have been the next day with me. So, glad I wasn't there, glad I moved out. Just saying, if you are going to do something that somebody else isn't comfortable with, do it somewhere else, or at least be courteous of what you're doing, because it is not just you are with other people. You have to be very mindful. And they're just both too fucking headaches that I have to get rid of. So that is all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys wanted to hear it. I did leave a lot of details out before. This video is extremely long, just like the other one. But when you telling a story and it's a good juicy story, it gotta be long. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.